Okay, we're on.
Okay?
Yeah.
Alright, first and foremost, we want to say
Kala Yahweh wa
Yahushua. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the elect, to this word of truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. That is for me, Obadiah. Because past week now, all I've been hearing is discussion all over like on the news. Other than all the other stuff that the Lord is doing, but big discussion on whether white supremacy is real or not. Which is, that statement in itself is ignorant. To say white supremacy is not real. You know, you had this guy on the radio, he's talking, he was saying, well, when, you know, and he's, you know, a so-called Edomite, or a so-called white person. And he was talking about, well, you know, when I was young, me and my mom lived in a small apartment, we barely had any food, I had to go through this. Basically explaining the struggles like he was Jake. You might even, it's crazy, even if some of these so-called white people who are on the bottom, they're probably Jakes who are just looking out the curses. You know? But this guy was talking about it, he's like, I didn't get where I was today. He owns his own radio station. I didn't get where I was today because of white supremacy. That makes no sense. Whether you got to where you got to, white supremacy is still here. It is a real thing. And that's in the scriptures, man. It's actually a prophecy for these so-called white people, these devils, to be above us. So you can't tell us no white supremacy.
Yeah, and then you also have Edomites who are at the bottom because there are people at the top who are not looking after their own people. Man.
That's
right?
how wicked these devils are, man.
Yeah, like the scripture says, how to fight against itself, how to stand, right? That also goes into play when, you got, Edomites who are at the bottom, but also, the Lord is slowly lifting up the curses off of us and putting it on these heathens. So you are going to still have these heathens at the bottom now, man. Okay? But, it is what it is, man. That's how the Lord is, switching the roles up, man. Okay?
Absolutely. Man, like what you were saying, how can a house be divided against each other? It's actually crazy. These Edomites are actually fools, man. And I hear Apostle Gabar and Tahar, always calling these guys fools, and it's true. Because these Russia against America, they're both the same nation. That's an example of what you were saying.
Yeah, but it goes back to the scriptures, right?
Yeah.
But in the kingdom, man, our own people, all of our people in the kingdom are going to live up nice, man. Why? Because we know how to take care of ourselves, man. We know, how to deal, with the next brother, man. Brotherly love, man. That's in the scriptures, man. But these heathen nations, they only care about their individual self, man. That's why you got the elites, the top elites of this nation, of the so-called white man. They only care about their own families, man. Other than that, they could care less about the next Edomite, working, 9-to-5 job, man.
That's right. That's right.
Go on over there.
Start to.
Okay.
For that chapter, these guys are.
So book of Obadiah verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Now, can you get Genesis 4 where he gave the mark? Now, the brother was right, I've made you small against the heathens. So out of all the heathens, Esau's the base heathen. He's the worst, he's the lowest heathen. Because Job talks about how they were base men.
Yeah.
Children of fools. Eating the bushes for food, eating shit off the ground. The clothes they wore, they wore it till they evaporated off their backs. Hence the name Caucasian, being from the Caucasus Mountains. So guess what? These devils, they want to do whatever they can to get rid of their history, so they're not looked down upon. That's why GMS is a threat, man. The sincere brothers from GMS are a threat because we're making Esau naked. All this shit that he's trying to hide, we're bringing it out. They want to take slavery out of the history book so they don't look like devils, man. That's why these so-called Edomites, they get angry when you're bringing up the past because they understand what they did was devilish, man. Hella wicked, bro. To genocide, to almost destroy whole nations.
Yeah. You know, but then at the same time, like, you know, they want to have days like, you know, 9/11 or, you know, Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
But, you know, what about, you know, remembrance of the slaves that you put to death? You know, they want to have these days where, you know, so-called, you know, like, remember the people, you know, that fought for our country. Who did you fight? You fought,
So-called free
yeah,
rights.
you know, you fought the people that actually own this land, man. You know? So, you know, like, all of that goes into play, man. But then, you know, these people, you know, they don't really understand that, man. You know? They just go ahead with you know, yeah, you know, they just go ahead with, you know, whatever, you know, they've been told in the media, man. Okay? Now it says right here, behold, I had made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. That's right, man. Because Esau, with his agenda, he actually thinks, you know, that, you know, he's going to go on with this kingdom, man. You know? But, you know, the Lord, you know, said that, you know, the pride of thine heart had deceived you. Why? Because the Lord is going to come back, you know, and destroy these Edomites, man, and take the crown and put the nation of Israel up top, man. Okay? You know, these are the children of Israel, man. You know, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the so-called Native American Indians, man. You know, the people that are at the bottom, man. Okay? But it says right here, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock. You know, look at all these high, you know, sky-high buildings, man. This is Esau's nature.
Yeah, man.
You know, he dwells in the cliffs of the rock, man.
Heck, actually, you know what?
You know
Real
what I
quick,
mean?
you can get it. You can
Yeah,
see
man.
it's even in the shape as like as if they're in Rome.
And yeah, you
This
know,
is just way out here in Regina,
and it's like, you know, mountains and all that.
border of wickedness, man.
That's right, man. You know, that's why the scripture says, you know, the scriptures gave, you know, an indicator of who's talking about. It
Sure.
says, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock. Because in the scriptures, you know, there is a law about building, man. You know, you're not supposed to build buildings 3 stories high.
That's everything.
You know, what if a fire breaks up? How the fuck are you gonna get out of that, you know, tall-ass building, man?
9/11, they had guys jumping out of those buildings.
Yeah, man. See, if that building was only built 3 stories high, you know, people would be safe. You know, people would be safe. But no, Esau wants to go against what has already been set in order. Because he's against order, man. Esau doesn't even know the truth, but he wants to fight and go against it. Because Esau can't come to the truth, right? So before that, he wants to destroy the truth. He doesn't even know what it is. He just knows that it's a terror against him. Because, you know, we are actually terrorists against the so-called white man. You know, this system, the scripture says terror shall make them afraid. Right? These, you know, these scriptures go against them, man.
And it's like,
No?
you know, just to piggyback off what the brother's saying, it's true. These that, you know, it's only the elites that know that Yahushua is coming for them. And even then, I remember a while back I was watching a video on this astronaut, and he was talking about how they got cameras in all different directions. In the interview that was interviewing the astronaut, he was like, "Why you guys got these in so many different directions?" And the man said, "We're waiting for someone. We're looking out for someone." And it's crazy. He didn't say we're looking for people as in plural. It says someone.
Yeah.
So these elites, they know Yahushua is coming for their ass, man. They know that.
Yeah. You know,
No, it's all good. It's all good. And when we're the mouth of Yahushua and Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So when we speak against these Edomites, they feel it, man.
Yeah.
They feel it because they know. Listen, you cannot. It's crazy. You cannot hide your history. You can't. You can't just completely do away with your history and act as if it never happened. You know, you guys, you devils have so much to pay for. That's why slavery, for you guys under the rulership of Yahushua and the elect, is going to be horrible. Because you have so much to pay for. We're talking about thousands of years of wickedness. And not just to the world itself, but to the nation of Israel. Heck, you guys even go further and pollute the air, pollute the food, pollute the earth. And now you guys want to do it, the earth to start all over again. Like it's just that easy. See, you so-called white people have a lot to pay for. I mean, judgment is gonna befall on you guys.
That's right, man. You know, and these top elites like Donald Trump, you know, well, Donald Trump, Donald Trump is not a top elite, but the top elites and Donald Trump, and the people that are the so-called
higher level.
yeah, on a higher level, in the eyes of the media, they watch us, man.
Oh yeah.
They watch, and they're right now, and they know all of us by names, man.
Yeah, they're keeping tabs, man.
With the technologies and how sometimes when I can want to do like live stream videos, they shut that shit down. They know, man.
How many Akims have had to make new accounts because they shut the stuff down?
Yeah, well, Apostle, yeah, like Apostle Ramlab, his, account, basically got suspended or something because they said he was making too many videos,
Oh, shit.
So what the fuck does that mean?
That's
You know what I
crazy,
mean?
man. That's the power behind about Shimei Shai. Even the internet can't keep up with this word.
Yeah, but then, at the same time,
That's these devils.
yeah, at the same time, that goes to show you, for the acting, that are in this truth, we gotta push the word, man. Because, if apostles, accountants get suspended for making too many videos, that should be the same thing with all of us, man.
That's one man.
Right? So there you go, man, But it goes to show that Esau, Esau wants to stop this truth, but he's not even in the truth. And he only wants to stop it. That goes to show you that the spirit on them is to go against us, and our spirit is to go against them.
Yeah, it's that movie, that bad guy versus good guy.
That's right. We don't know why, but hey, it is what it is. That's how the Lord set it up. Even if we don't want to go against them, we eventually will go against them. The Lord's going to put the spirit on the 2/3 of our people who can fight against Esau.
Yeah,
and then they're going to die.
Yeah,
right?
because don't get it twisted. At the end of the day, the Lord is in control of everything.
Yeah.
So even if you Edomites think if you just get rid of us, everything's all going to be good. It's the Lord who's controlling everything. He's actually, if you want to get deep, the Lord is controlling how much damage you're really going to do to us and what we're going to do to you. So because we're on the right side of the Lord, we're going to win.
That's right. I got a scripture on. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 14. Enter not in the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief.
Man, that's mentality, bro. That's how they are, bro. They literally, just think of it like this. As normal or as much as want there's in you to want to do good, as much passion is in you to want to do good, same amount or even more in Esau to do wicked, bro. When you feel off because you didn't do a video today, they feel off because they didn't get you today.
Yeah, they didn't scoff at you.
Yeah, they didn't scoff at you today. That's their spirit, man.
Yeah, that's a beautiful said, man. Beautifully said. And it says, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall.
That's crazy.
Look at that, man.
Let's lose sleep over that shit.
Unless they cause some to fall. So they want to see you out the truth. They don't like it, man.
Hey, man, and this is also applying to the spiritual demon Satan, man. He's trying everything he can do from the orders from the Most High to do everything he can do to get you out of it too. It's a balance of spiritual warfare as much as a physical warfare, man. Because you physically have to deal with these demons scoffing at you, deal with Esau being over you, telling you what to do at your work, or even if you're amongst your landlord.
Yeah.
You can't do whatever you can't have it. If your landlord said you can't have people pass well, that's it, bro.
Yeah. Although you're paying for that.
Although you're paying for it, bro.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's how you know. That example right there is white supremacy. And the fact that there's a quick video. There's a video I watched on a white lady, Edomite lady, talking about. She said she was in a class, a university full of Edomite students, and she said, any of you guys right now raise your hand if you would like to switch spots with blacks. You remember that video?
Yeah.
And no Edomite rose his hand up.
Yeah.
Showing you these Edomites know that there is what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? This society is against so-called black people, right? And Latinos and North American Indians. And they realize that, or else why wouldn't they put their hands up? They know that. So you Edomites, so white supremacy is real, man. You guys are ruling, whatever. But we're gonna get our rulership right away. Your kingdom is done now. Time is up. That's why all this shit's happening. That's why you have all these catastrophes over in America, especially America, because America is the heart of all wickedness.
Yeah, America's the head.
It's the head.
Yeah.
So that's why it's getting attacked the most.
Yeah, man. Like a lot of these Edomites, you know, they want to be like us, but they don't want to have to play the, you know.
They don't want to do the work.
Yeah, you know, they don't want to have to, you know, accept, you know, the things that black people go through, man.
Yeah,
you know, because they know that the Christians are honest, man.
Yeah, they know. And even it's true, man. That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Even if they don't know the scriptures, they know there's something wrong with Negroes, Latinos, North American Indians.
Yeah.
Through their spirit. Every time we try to rise, we get shut down somehow. So they know.
Yeah. You understand, man? And at the same time, you can have a, you know, Moabite, you know, doesn't even know fucking English. Come over here in 2 months, he has a whole fucking business running, making money.
Maybe 2 businesses.
You know?
It's actually crazy.
And then you got Jake living in the same neighborhood since they were children, man. And they can't even, you know, make, a single, I'm a small
Barely,
business
yeah, they can barely make a living.
or nothing. You know, those are the curses. You know, goes to show that the system, you know, is set up to basically bring down the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and so-called Native American Indians, man. You know, it's literally against us.
Real quick too, that's how you know. It's another point how you guys know you guys are devils. How I know you guys are devils because you guys know there's something wrong with Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. You know there's some kind of curse or something going on with them. Then when we bring it out, the truth, as to into detail as to what's going on, then you come up against us. No, it's not that. Come on, slavery was way back years ago. How can that affect you now?
Yeah.
What do you mean? How can these guys still get angry at Gad for being an alcoholic? Gad was never an alcoholic before Christopher Columbus came here, man. You think Gad was never an alcoholic? Read that man's memoirs. He said they were clean. The hygiene was high. They actually, when Christopher Columbus came over here, his first voyage, they were sick. They had all type of illnesses because guess what? They didn't know how to clean themselves. They had pig on that shit. They had pigs on there. They had swine on there. See, these Caucasians or these so-called Edomite or so-called white people, these Edomites, they're filth. They're filth, man, and they're proud about it too.
Yo, nothing worse than a proud man. Nothing, bro.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, man, because it goes to show you, man, that these people, as soon as you bring up the past and why it's affecting you today, all of a sudden it doesn't matter, that was in the past, but then they want to, talk about the so-called Holocaust that happened to, 6 million Jewish people, you know what I mean? They want to, they actually have, these dates, set up, to celebrate or to remember, the people that died in the past or whatever, but then when you talk about, what about the so-called Native American, the 98, percent that you have murdered, slaughtered, and killed their children, what about them? What about the Negroes that you brought here in slavery, and you basically, I'm gonna give their children up to the alligators, just for, as a...
Leather. Yeah, it's bait.
Alligator bait. That's right, what about those, man? Because those same people, that have been living here for years and years and years and centuries, the reason why they're in the condition that they're in is because of your forefathers and what they've done, man. So when you want to talk about that, then all of a sudden, oh, now you're being racist. How the fuck am I racist when I'm talking about you fucking up my whole family? You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. That shit does not make any sense, man. But it goes to show how proud these people are, man. And the Lord's gonna get them, man. The Lord should put the Spirit on them to be proud so that He can get them at the end, and it's gonna feel good, man, to their life.
And yeah, you know what? You guys might say, well, it's through the Lord anyways. Of course, but guess who's the victim? I mean, guess who's the idea of us going to slavery is through the Lord, but who did He use to do that? You guys. So guess what? The judgment has to be placed on you.
That's right.
And you get upset and say it's unfair. Take it out with the Most High, man.
Yeah. Well, like as soon as Esau basically, picked up the Bible, then now, you are, basically about to, accept the consequences of what you do, that is against the scriptures, man. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is at the end of the day, man. But that's Esau, man. Because at the same time, even though, like you guys might say, oh, it's all through the Lord or whatever, which it is through the Lord, the same way, the Lord has, your spirit come against us, it's the same reason why we feel the same way about you, because the Lord puts the spirit on us to feel the same way about you, man.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way thing, man. Only we understand the Lord is doing it, the Lord's putting the spirit on us to feel a certain way about it. So yes, it is through the Lord.
Only a Jacob rides him. Fucking skunk tail in the back of the tail.
Yeah. And it says, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness, and drink the wine of violence.
That's right, man. It's in them. That's it. It's plain. It's in you guys to be devils, so that's why we're going to call you devils.
Satan, man. Going back, and I'm going to read Obadiah, and then you want to read Genesis, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a point. Read Obadiah again, and there was a point I wanted to jump. It was just
Genesis
about,
4,
you don't really
right?
have to get it if you want to. If you feel like it.
Obadiah, chapter, well, there's only one chapter, but verse 2, it says right here, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
That's right, man. That's that proud. You don't need offenses.
Okay, come. And it says right here, verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars. Yo, that's it right there, right? Talking about, we're looking for, we're waiting for someone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's it right here.
That's so beautiful.
That's the scripture right there,
That's so
right?
beautiful. I was just thinking, I was like, yo, that's exactly what we just explained.
Yeah.
And another point too, because it said eagles, that's America. Their symbol is the eagle.
It's the eagle, yeah.
And guess what? Before now, America was on top of the world. It was the place that everybody wanted to go to.
Yeah, an eagle, is the highest flying bird, right?
Yeah, it can fly the highest. Out of
Yeah.
all the birds, the eagle can fly the highest.
See? And Donald Trump looks like an eagle, man. When you actually look at him, right? Honestly, man, that guy literally looks like an eagle. Like when you put a picture of an eagle and Donald Trump, they look like, lost cousins, man. And it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
That's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's your kingdom is slowly crumbling because we're out here because it's crumbling through us. It's beginning. It really didn't start falling down to the truth. It started coming out way back with Abba.
Yeah, but
way back with them.
Baptist.
Kind of, if you could receive it.
If
Right?
you
But when they were pushing the truth, man, it was the vibration of the truth because then it started waking people up. It started waking these people up. It started not just the elect, but the whole world. Now, Illuminati, the phrase Illuminati is like, yeah, man, we know about them. Yeah. Back then it was taboo, Illuminati. Ooh, they're behind you, watch out,
When you say Illuminati, like, you would get scared.
Yeah, man, you're scared that they're watching you, they're listening to you. Now it's just a well-known phrase that actually even members of the Edomites and the higher ups have come out to admit, there's a club, there's a brotherhood or a club which is called the Illuminati, Skull and Bones. They have different names for it, man.
Yeah.
So guess what? We're at a place, we're at a stage in this kingdom where wickedness is forefront. It's like, that's it, bro. That's just the norm. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's normal that Skull and Bones, they drink blood and they eat carcasses. That's just, well, we hear that, people don't even get, not even the eyebrows raised.
Yeah. And that's the thing, even though they tell you that, just like that one guy that made the interview talking about, how they basically sell.
The rabbi.
He
was a Jewish rabbi.
Yeah, and how he was talking about, a lot of these so-called, fast food restaurants, McDonald's, right? They, basically, sacrifice a lot of children, and then the carcasses, they just give it to the butcher, and then the butcher sends it, put it in the meat, then mix it together, you don't even know what you're eating. And he said, although we tell them, they're still not going to believe us. So that's the same thing, man. Even though they talk about Illuminati and they talk about, the secret society and the blood sacrifices and the children, that go missing and so on and on, people will still be like, I don't think I believe that.
The masses are fools, because even the devil himself is saying the same thing we're saying. It's like, no matter what we say, they're not going to listen. It's true.
Yeah.
So even the devil's saying that you masses are fools, man.
That goes to show you how far Esau, has indoctrinated our people with lies to a point where people don't even know what's the truth and what's not. So therefore, they just don't believe in anything anymore.
And then some of them might make up their own truth.
Yeah,
right.
A lot of them.
All of them, mostly. Yeah, a lot of them.
Make
up their own truth. Have their own opinion on how things are. Instead of following what things are.
Yeah. Of what makes sense to them.
Right.
Which goes into the heart, right? The scripture tells you that your heart is deceitful. Your heart can lie to you, man.
Absolutely.
Your mind lies to you. It tells you what's good, although it's bad in the long run, man. You don't know your heart.
You can't make judgments on when you don't even have the understanding.
Full understanding.
Yeah, the full understanding of what's going on. And that's what these guys will do. They'll make judgments on us or make judgments on what we're reading they'll make judgments and tell us we're wrong based off what they understand, and they barely understand the scriptures. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and they make judgments based off of, their experience or their understanding of just that one day or that week. They don't have a full general understanding of what this whole truth is actually about, man.
And who it's for, man.
Which goes into making judgments off of feelings.
That's right.
Because you might feel some type of way about it right now, but give it maybe 2-3 hours, man. Just like how, they say, if you love your job, just give it some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll get to you.
If you love your job, just give it some time, man. And, at the end of the day, you should never, have to say thank God it's Friday if you love your job, man. You should be excited to go to work on Mondays if you actually love your job. So that's the same thing, man. Give it some time, man, to fully understand what it's about.
It takes the right man to break it down to you, too.
Yeah. And it says, "Thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down to the..." That's like it. "Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If thieves come to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?"
See,
How?
You were just saying that. These guys have no balance.
Yeah.
Anything and everything Esau does, he goes over and beyond with it.
That's right.
If he's going to murder you, he'll murder you to the farthest extent. If he's going to rob you, he'll rob you everything. He won't leave nothing.
That's right. Verse 6. "How are the things of Esau searched out?
That's right.
How are his hidden things sought up?"
That's what we're actually, if you can get
that's
Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians 5:1, the secret of the mystery of the man of,
Oh yeah.
you know which one I'm talking about,
The man of sin shall be revealed.
Yeah,
Something like that?
yeah.
That's in 2 Thessalonians, is it?
Yeah, it's 5. It should be 5, or maybe it's 2 Thessalonians 2 and 5.
Oh, that's Timothy. Oh no, there's only a third chapter in 2 Thessalonians. 2 verse 1.
I was the one who just looked. Okay, it's
2 verse 1. Like, I can actually just, I'm gonna type it down.
5.
Oh, I'm a Timothy. Timothy, right? Yeah.
Exactly. No, it's Thessalonians though.
Is it?
Because it talks about the man of
Of sin.
yeah, that's mystery. That's Timothy's.
Well, I'm sure it's Thessalonians. Did you find it? Okay. Well, I can just search it.
Yeah, you search it up on my phone.
Right.
Oh no, it's right here. Yeah, mystery of iniquity. Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely.
2. Start from 5.
Okay.
Yeah, start from 5.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 5. "Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? Now, and now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time."
And that's the reason for lack of a better term, the slowdown.
Yeah.
Really, because before the Lord completely wipes out America and this kingdom, he's gonna make sure everybody understands who's who,
Yeah.
what's what, and this is it. So no one has any excuses.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
The Lord break it down into like small bits,
Very,
right?
very small bit. Cross all the I's and cross all the T's and dots all the I's.
Yeah.
You know, and that's our job. How is the Lord making the man of iniquity to be revealed? By us, by His men, the brothers, beginning with the apostles and elders on down, who are doing this work, bringing out the videos, and connecting the scriptures with this devil, man, showing you who it is. So now we know who the devil is. So you can't hide. You can't hide now, because before, like back before no one knew that Esau was Esau was the so-called white man. Before anybody knew that, when wicked shit happened, people really didn't know who to blame.
Yeah.
You didn't know who to blame. And actually, it would be Esau who would put the blame on other people, because no one knew he's the beginning of all this wickedness.
Yeah, because Esau knew the truth.
Because
When everyone else
that's
was
how
blind,
he was able to lie.
right? When everyone else was blind, Esau knew what was what.
Yeah.
By having these libraries where it's secretive.
Yeah.
Only the top members are only allowed to go in.
Yeah, they
Goes
send
to-
scholars all over these
Yeah,
places.
it goes to show that they have books and some history.
Library of Alexandria.
Yeah, that our people have forgotten about. That's how Esau was able to tell the truth. So when Esau would create chaos, he already knew the end result of
Absolutely.
what he's gonna say and how it's gonna affect the people, and what the result of our next attack or whatever it is, how it's gonna play out, man. Esau knew all of this before he started. Esau actually studies, man. He doesn't just do shit and then they're like, oh, I don't know what the fuck to do. No, he actually, does.
Esau's wise in his wickedness.
Yeah, he actually does test runs.
Yeah,
And then later on he'll bring the real shit out. Just like with the chip, smoothly, it's coming in.
Yeah.
You see it in the movies, you're just getting familiar with
The basketball court, the NBA players
yeah.
are having it now.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be cool.
Yeah.
That video, that commercial that you said was crazy.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's all it's in the dirt,
Your
so on and
phone.
on. Yeah.
People can you can just pay with your phone like this.
Yeah.
You don't even need the card anymore.
Yeah, and even with the phone, like the audio, and everything is on 24/7. Like
Your phone's never off.
like I remember this one time, like I was listening to a song, at my friend's house, right? And then I'm from YouTube, right? And then I was at home, like maybe like a few days later or whatever, I was also on YouTube, and then like on my YouTube page, like I have
Like suggestions
yeah.
of what you should watch.
Yeah, so basically, like I have, like my own, I'm a list, of music and so on and on, and it just basically, that same song was on my list, and I have never searched that song on my YouTube page ever before. Goes to show you, Esau already gives you what you've,
They're always watching, man.
yeah, they're always watching. Esau, gives you, some recommendations, based off of your experiences and your past history, research, or whatever it is, man.
Absolutely. That's what they call that. That's advertising now. That's the new wave of advertising.
Yeah.
You'll like my woman, my ex-woman. She was talking about she had baby fever. She was talking about babies and stuff. Like 3 weeks later, on my Instagram, all I see is baby
babies
things. I'm like,
everywhere.
that's crazy. You guys are really hearing everything we talk about.
Yeah, literally, man.
But that's Esau trying to be God.
Yeah.
That's Esau's way of trying to be God, because trying to be the Most High. Because the Most High sees and hears everything. Showing you this is the pride, man. That's actually the pride within these guys' mind, their spirit. They believe that they can attain the same level that the Most High is on.
Yeah.
That's why they'll go through and they'll go through and do anything to anybody to get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And the craziest thing about it is that as much as knowledge that these so-called white people have, little do they know that the Lord's actually giving them that knowledge. So it goes to show you how much does the Lord have, man.
It's foolish, bro.
Because
that's why they're foolish.
Because they think that they're actually getting closer to being the Most High. But the Lord is the one that's giving you this knowledge, man. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
They're so proud.
Yeah,
They don't
that's
even
it.
consider that, what? How the hell, did this person come up with this revelation? Or, how do, I'm going to do this, put 1 and 2 together, and,
They don't want to give credit to the Most
Yeah,
High.
and
Even
it
if
makes
they did know. Even if you Edomites
Knew.
at least did know it was
Yeah.
the Most High. Which you probably do, because you're watching our videos. That's all we ever talk about.
Yeah, they're not going to say
So
that.
yeah, you're still not going to give credit. You're like, no, it can't be him. No.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
Yeah, well, like a lot of the, inventions were created by Jake.
Not
But-
even Esau, yeah.
But whose name is behind it? Esau. Esau's name is always in the front. So then therefore you have no idea, about the people that work their butts off in the background. You know? Just to show you how proud these Edomites are, man. Right?
The devil's gonna get yours.
Come on. Verse 7, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
So the mystery, so even when we didn't know Esau was Esau, he was already doing this wicked shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It just took us, it took the Most High to give us the knowledge, give the apostles and elders to bring it out. So now we know, but it's actually crazy because now Esau was doing his wickedness in silence. So he could say it wasn't him. But now that we all know who Esau is, he doesn't even bother saying it's not him. They'll admit it's them, but no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, we're at the point where Esau's kingdom is falling, and he knows it. He's just
So he doesn't give a shit.
He just wants to get to the point with the chip. That's why he wants to do away with everything.
God, that's why these cops don't literally the way they're trained in the facility, and the way they're trained and their minds are conditioned, they don't give a shit. They know that there's going to be a big war between Israel and Esau. They know.
Yeah.
So they're like, fuck it. You know what? We might as well not delay the
event.
Yeah, the event, the inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why they shoot you so easy. It's crazy, man. These cops will just pull out a gun and shoot Jake easy, with no remorse, because they're starting to bring out the real devils, man.
Yeah. And then they'll go back to work and they get the promotion.
And then you got these two-third Jakes. These women, I thought these women will piss me off. They sit there crying and Jake's in an uproar. Black Lives Matter. Like now you're waking up to your enemy.
Yeah.
I mean, like with the apostles and elders have been speaking about who your enemy is for the last 50, going back to Alabama, it's almost 100 years ago. Cause he passed away when he was in his 80s, 90s, I think it was. So this truth is all been out, and now Jake is starting to wake up to who their enemy is. And you still got dumbass Israelites who are saying Edomites can make it in their kingdom as if they're going to be on the same level as us. Guess what? Edomites are going to be in the kingdom, but they're going to be slaves.
The role is not going to be the same.
Yeah, the role is not the same. Exactly. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. The role is not the same.
Yeah, and it goes to show that our people, unless the shit happens to them, then that's when they want to do something about it. Just kind of like, with the analogy of, like the apostle says, Jake will see a bridge breaking down, and he won't move until,
the crumbles are falling.
Until the crumbles are falling, then that's when he wants to get out the way.
Even then, he might think twice.
Yeah, which is crazy, because that's the thing, man. We've been speaking about it, and it's happening, and then now you want to turn. But hey, man, it's too late. That's the thing.
Guess what, man? You two-thirds are going to get right along the line. With some of the Edomites that are dying and they're going to be dead, you two-thirds are going to get caught up with that, man.
Yeah.
You people, you guys who are Israelites and come up against us, when all we've been doing is bringing out the truth, and you later on agree to us coming, because that happened like a while ago when Apostle Kabar bring out the whole Cornelius is an Israelite. A handful of them didn't see it.
Yeah.
And then now they all say, yeah, Cornelius is an Israelite. That's wicked as hell, man. And that's how you two-thirds are, man. You loved Esau until he attacked you, and now that when he attacked you, you agree with what we say.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wicked as hell, bro.
That's literally it. It goes to show you that you have no strong foundation.
None.
None. The scriptures talk about a house getting built, on a stony ground, and then on the earth. Roughly paraphrasing, man.
Yeah.
You guys have no strong foundation. That's why you're able to take left and right. Back
at will.
front,
You can just be this and that at will.
You change up your doctrine because your doctrine is not.
Stable. It's not,
exactly. It's not, stable. It's not, it doesn't have a strong foundation.
Right.
It doesn't have any deep roots, man.
That's right.
When it says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let.
Which is the Most High. The Most High is in control of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So going back what the brother said, is you guys think you're ahead of the Most High, but it's the Most High who's giving you the knowledge.
Yeah.
So let he who let us let.
And that's why the Lord said, that he might be revealed in his time. Going to show you that there's a time for everything, man. Like the scripture says, there's a time for war, there's a time for peace, right? So Esau is getting revealed now because this is a time of him going down, right? So there's a time for everything, man. So it goes to show that the Lord already had this set up of when, he's going to have, the elect wake up and go, teach his word, because, in his time, he's going to be revealed, This is when Esau, is at the top of his rulership,
What is this?
The truth of your nationality.
Where are you guys from?
Israel. You're from Israel too. North American Indian.
The children of God in the scriptures.
The real children. Not these so-called white people and East Indians that claim to be children. You guys are the real children of God, because you guys are going through the curses that the Bible speaks about. Not these East Indians or these Chinese people or these white people. They're living nice here. They have businesses. They run so much here. You guys barely run anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right.
I'm from Saskatoon. My name is Michelle.
So,
Yeah.
that's right, So just like the brother was saying, these are the true children of Israel that the Lord talks about in the Bible. These are the people that Moses led out of Egypt. They're here today, the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native American Indians. These are the true children of God that the Lord's come back to save.
So you're saying us natives are...
You are one of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, according to the Bible. Why? Because the scripture talks about the curses when Christopher Columbus came here, and stole this land. All of that is recorded in the Bible. And the Lord talks about how, our people are under the curses, but at the end, we're going to be over at the top, man. And we will rule this kingdom again.
Right, because so-called white people are ruling the kingdom right now. They run the society. As much as we like to ignore white supremacy, it's real. It's just a fact.
Right.
You guys run it right now, but in the Bible speaks about these nations coming on top, because we're on the bottom. The Negroes, Latinos, North American Indians, we're on the bottom of this society.
That's right. And it says right here, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way.
That's right, and that time is coming. There's going to be a time, all this war you hear about in America, and this shooting between cops and black, and then Russia and America, this is all biblical prophecy that's supposed to happen. So at the end of all this, the so-called white people that are ruling right now, the judgment is because they put these people in slavery, Negroes, Latinos, North American Indians, they're actually going to go into slavery too. That's how the Lord works. That's how God works. What goes around comes around. And it's even going to be worse. But people don't like to hear that because it hurts. The truth hurts. That's why people scoff at us. They look at us weird because we're telling the truth. You're telling me that we should, they actually are trying to take slavery out of the history books. It makes no sense. Why would you do that?
That's right. Now they're saying that, the Negroes from West Africa basically came over to the Americas just to work. And people are actually going to believe that because, give it 50 years, the children of today, they're not going to know because they're being taught in the school systems lies, man. Okay, slavery happened, man. And 98% of the so-called Native American Indians were slaughtered in this land. Where is justice in that, man? The scriptures talk about that, man. Okay?
One of the things history books don't teach other is the massacres the churches committed.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Like a lot of these pastors are, freaks, man. They're actually false prophets. A lot of these pastors in these churches, they rape little boys, man.
Behind closed doors.
All of that stuff is in the scriptures, and that's what happened to the so-called Native American Indians. When they were teaching them about the Bible in these churches, a lot of the children were raped, man, and it's especially little boys.
That's right.
But
even in residential schools,
residential
what?
schools
Yeah.
are big for that. Naming you different names, like white names like Bob or whatever. The thing is, the crazy thing is the Bible, that's just the spirit of these people. They're going to do that.
Should we be focusing though on race and not just as humanity as a whole though?
We're not focused on it, man. We're actually focused on the individual.
Yeah.
Okay, but aren't you trying to, campaign for a black Christ instead of just...
No, not really. Not really.
No,
Maybe.
because-
It's the color is a part of what we teach. It's not the main goal of what we're trying to teach. The main goal is to know who you are and not to take the chip.
And the scriptures actually tell you that that who the world called Jesus Christ was a so-called black man, a Negro, a dark-skinned man.
Well,
So
we hear-
therefore, we have to bring this up because this is lies.
But
This is
wasn't
part of
Jesus
white
a
supremacy.
Jew, so he was
Yeah,
Okay, now bring the
olive skin
scripture
and
up.
not
Yeah.
necessarily a
What's that?
So we'll read the scriptures and we'll show you how that was actually that scripture that was read to you was explained to you wrong.
Yeah.
Get Jeremiah first. He said he was a Jew.
Yeah.
Now it
Which-
tells you what color the Jews are.
Yeah. This is in the book of Jeremiah 14 verse 2. It says Judah
Okay?
mourneth.
Sorry, what translation are you reading from?
King
This is
James.
from the
Do you have
1600 King James
a
version.
different Bible to read from?
Well,
No,
this,
this is
yeah,
what I have right now.
you know,
Okay.
well, you know, the King James actually goes back to the
King James actually is a pagan.
original.
No,
He
What's
was.
that?
Oh, he was.
According to what
That's another
source?
topic. That's another topic.
It's a pretty serious topic, but
According
anyways,
to
go
what-
ahead.
Another topic.
Anyways, it says Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof language. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
Now get the image of what he looks like.
Yeah.
Now they're black onto the ground. Now a lot of people are saying, "Oh, that means what they're wearing." No, it has nothing to do with what we're wearing. And we're going to prove to you that it means skin. Even when you look up that word,
Sorry, can you reference that first one
Yeah.
from Jeremiah?
Jeremiah 14 and 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof language. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
So the
Because-
verse, sorry, was 42?
No,
14 verse 2.
Okay,
Now-
just give me 1 second
Yeah,
before you go on.
you know, but now, you know, like when you go to the Hebrew, that word black is kodar, which means dark skin. Because, you know, we can read it in the English, but you have to go back to the original text, which is the Hebrew. The Old Testament's written in the Hebrew, so that word black means dark skin, you know? Because again, right, when you got, you know, that, you know, I'm a new translation version or whatever it is, you know, they take out certain words, you know, to confuse you and not give you the full understanding of
True,
those,
and so does
you
the
know?
King James.
King James not 100%, but it's the best one out of all.
I say there's better versions
Like
out
what?
there.
Which ones?
Well, I would say that the World Messianic Bible actually is a lot better than the King James. If you want to look at a better translation, and you want to try and vouch for the King James, you've got
Well, hey,
Iskara in Acts
Either way,
12 verse 2. You've
I
got
then
the
we have
church
to go back to
replacing
Hebrew.
assembly, which actually is Circe. It
The
comes
end
from
of
the
day,
sun
though.
god.
The end of day.
Like this Jesus comes from the church, doesn't come from
Yes.
scripture.
Exactly. That's why. Exactly. You're proving our point. Exactly.
This
why
is
we have it
Mithra
out here.
god.
Exactly why we have it out here. It is not the
Paleo
truth.
Sol Invictus, you got Ishtar,
This-
you got Circe known as the church.
This is just conditioning.
Do you know that
Conditioning
Jesus
of the
would,
mind.
like, the whole, actually even Jesus is not the best name to call him.
Well, yeah,
You're right.
you're
It's
right.
not
You're
the same.
100% true.
Absolutely right.
Because he was a
It's-
Hebrew, therefore he had a Hebrew name.
Absolutely.
Jesus is a Greek title. It's not a
Absolutely.
Hebrew name, it's an English name, right?
A lot of what we see in English translated Bibles is actually borrowed from paganism.
Yeah.
Like the words.
Some of them, yeah, not all of them, but there are some.
But you know what, like some
Yeah.
people call it, you know, the creator or something.
Well, yeah,
but,
you know, there's-
but, you know, it's
there's different
So
titles.
what
it
would
is
what would be the
importance.
name that you would gravitate towards when you're referring to the Son
Well,
of God?
the real name of the Lord is who everybody calls Jesus is Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh. Say that again.
Yahweh.
Hawashai in the Hebrew.
So what about
Shai.
Yeshua?
Yeshua, because there's no letter E
Or
or
Yahweh?
U. Yeah, you know, again,
That's not
right?
either.
Okay.
There's no E or U in the Hebrew, so therefore they had, you know, they did not know how to pronounce those.
Like,
Right?
Yeah, it's not, it can't, if the language, if he's from Hebrew, and he's Hebrew Israelite, language Hebrew, and the Hebrew don't have A-U, it's E-U and S.
Yeah, I believe. No.
And
Yeah.
J, they don't have J.
Yeah.
J-U and S. You don't have
So
that,
what
the
is
name
this
Jesus
West,
can't be
West
there.
No, it
Indians?
can't.
What is that?
The thing is, they're gonna vote and say
What's
that
that?
this was
What is that?
you know,
West
English
Indians.
word for, you know what I'm saying, like a transliteration.
Right, it was, but it was translation.
But that's-
right.
but that's not the
proper.
translation, I think.
Absolutely.
You're right,
Proper
you're right.
translation.
No,
Absolutely.
because the letter J is only 500 years old. So what were they calling him 501 years ago? You know what I mean?
Well, that depends. Are you asking from a church perspective or from an actual true believer that most likely won't be found in a church?
Everything.
True believer, yeah, it depends on, these houses right here, these so-called churches.
These
they
are
don't have
pagan
this-
temples. That's
Absolutely.
exactly where they come from. Actually, the word comes from Circe, which is actually
Church?
Yes.
No, the word means to call out. The word church.
No, it doesn't actually.
Ecclesia.
The word church doesn't come from the word called out. Assembly,
So what is this
ecclesia.
symbol?
Which means to call out.
Yes,
In
but
the-
the
is that
English
black?
is not church. It actually comes from Circe.
No, the English is not, but the etymology, right? The root of that word, the
The-
English,
the-
the English definition today.
Why don't you have like
the word
the
that
people?
came from
Congregation assembly.
from the
Yes.
inside out. That's why this is considered a church.
Oh.
What is considered a church?
Right here.
I'm hoping not, because the
Get-
word.
get-
Okay, this is the thing I'm trying to get to,
Hold
guys.
on, I'll get a scripture for you.
No, I'm not
23,
talking about the
call
King
to
James
my name,
scripture.
I'll be there.
The word
No,
ecclesia is translated as assembly. If
is
you
this
want
a
to.
church to you right now?
Okay, well, let's look up in your King James Bible, Acts 19:37, please.
Okay, go for it.
Acts 19:37.
1937. So then, if that's true, what you're trying to say, then we need to start calling the Passover the Easter hunt.
Well, no.
It's not true. Well,
Obviously
then that's
not.
what the King James says.
Which is why you go back to the Greek. I mean,
Acts 12, verse 2 says
the
that
Hebrew.
Passover, okay, Pashka,
which is Pesach,
Is
which is the
Easter.
Passover.
It's not.
It's the Passover. It's not the Easter.
right?
It's the Passover.
But your King James would say that.
Exactly, and that's why we say we read it in the, in the English
you guys
because
saying
not
the
everybody knows
same?
Hebrew, but we go back to the original
What are you
translation.
True, and so do I. So I don't call the body of Christ a church. I call
No,
them the
like-
called out assembly of God, the
Okay.
community life
Cool.
of God.
It's the same thing.
Awesome.
It's not the same thing.
It is.
Do you? Okay.
It is the same thing.
How do you know this? Have you actually drove down to the very bare minimum of what actual church means? The original etymological order, like the origin of it,
Yeah.
does not come from ecclesia.
The call out from within.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed
That's
to
the
say.
meaning
Not
of it.
okay. You're missing what I'm saying. You don't
Either
call
way, man, we're
Pashka Easter. Is that correct? Is that correct or wrong?
Pesach. It's not Pascha. It's Pesach.
Well,
call
in
it-
the
In the
English we
Hebrew.
say Pashka.
Okay, well
Right.
therefore we
It's
go
a
back to the
Hebrew term.
Hebrew.
Right. So what's the proper term?
Pesach.
And so if I were saying Easter, would you think I was saying the same thing or
No.
something borrowed from somewhere else?
No, obviously not.
Yeah, no.
Obviously not what? Yes, you're borrowing from something else, or no, you're not saying the right thing.
No, you're not saying the right thing. That's it.
See again,
Borrowing
right?
from something
Okay,
else
ask
and
me
not
this
saying-
question, or answer this question. Easter and the Jewish Hebrew Pesach.
How
Is
are
that
you
the
gonna
same
s-
thing?
You want to say it again? Easter is what?
Easter today and the Jewish
Even back then.
Hebrew? No,
Okay.
obviously not. Obviously
Well,
not.
okay, so where does Easter come from?
Easter comes from a pagan.
Thank
holiday.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, Acts 12 verse 4.
What-
Acts 12 verse 4.
Acts chapter 12, verse 4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to four coordinations of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter
Thank
to
you.
bring him forth to the people.
Now look at it into the Greek.
What about it?
It's supposed to be the
Yeah.
proper Hebrew word.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
But
right
that's
on
not
that.
Hebrew.
No,
That's pagan.
obviously not.
Okay, now look at
English.
Acts 1937.
Yes, and again, we're telling you.
Acts 1937, just to let me prove my point.
All right, man. Yo,
Okay, get that. Acts 19.
Okay, if you're supposed to be a believer, don't act like that because that's inappropriate.
I'm
Don't
getting
shoo me
emotional.
away.
Don't
No,
get
I'm
emotional.
not.
I'm telling you not to touch my
Okay,
Bible.
because you're not listening.
I'm
I know,
telling you
but
not to
listen.
touch me.
Yo, hold on.
I'm not
Listen.
touching you.
Hold on.
You're getting close to my
Hold on,
space.
hold on,
I'm telling you
hold
not
on.
to do that.
Okay,
Listen,
you guys are really not sharing
Listen,
a good
listen,
heart
listen,
and
listen.
attitude.
If he just tells them to touch the book and say okay.
That's it. Don't touch
Simple.
me.
Can you please just turn over to Acts 19 verse
Okay,
7?
get it. It's that
1937.
simple. We can talk
Yeah,
about
and I
that.
did, but
It's
you
that
were
simple.
ignoring me because I'm trying to prove a point.
No, we were getting there, but
Anyways,
then you started getting
okay.
closer, and I told you to back up. That's
Anyways,
it.
Just look
Right?
up the passage.
That's it.
Calm
Hey,
yourself.
hey, where's your Bible?
My Bible's in my heart.
Well, then read it.
Well, I just did, and it's actually inconsistent with the translation you're holding in your hands. Do you mind just turning for a second to Acts 19:37?
Okay, go ahead.
It is really funny because you think you know better, and you're coming off as actually kind of arrogant.
You're
So
taking it like that, but we do know better. It's just the truth.
I'm really glad you think you know better. That's
So,
awesome.
okay,
Can you
so-
do so? The Bible
Okay,
scripture's
read the
still not
scripture.
open.
Okay, read the scripture, and then I got a question for you. And this will
Perfect.
determine whether what you know, what you know.
Acts 19, verse 27.
37.
Oh, 37.
Actually, you know what? Go to 27 first, and then read 37.
Acts 19, verse 27, and it says, so that not only this our craft is in the danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worship.
That's right. Can you read just down to 37 now? Like read that verse.
Okay, verse 37. For ye have brought hither these men, which are neither robbers of churches, nor yet blasphemers of your goddess.
Okay.
What's your point?
So my point is, if you read that whole in context, it's actually what they're going on about, because Paul and other disciples were out preaching the gospel, and these guys here were saying that they were putting the great goddess of Diana and her temple, whom the whole world worships, okay, to shame.
Okay.
Verse 37 is still in that same context. They're calling the temple of Diana the church. Have any of you ever heard of William Tyndale, 1525,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
first guy who wrote the English translation from the Textus Receptus?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? He actually wrote a whole thing on the word and origin of the church. Okay, the word and origin of the church doesn't come from ecclesia.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I
You
said
said
that,
the church
I
is...
said the word, whatever, but the meaning of that. Okay, there could be 3 words for the meaning of call within, out to it.
Ecclesia,
Call out.
yes.
Right. There's church, there's ecclesia. There's different words.
No, that's not the... Okay, you're
But-
losing
No.
this,
What I'm
point.
saying is these people use these words to explain that meaning.
So
but
would it
they're
be
wrong.
proper to...
No, they're wrong. I agree that they're wrong. That's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing.
So then why are you saying that this here is a church when it's
Because,
not?
of course, it's a church.
We're calling out.
We're calling out
Okay, you're missing-
from within.
Okay.
We're calling out from within.
The Jewish Passover, Hebrew Passover, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
is
whatever.
not Easter.
Okay.
Okay? The same thing with God's people, they're not the church.
God's people are not the church.
That's right.
Alright, man.
They're the
Alright.
called out assembly
Alright.
of Christ.
Alright.
Now let me ask you. Let me ask you this.
I wouldn't call
Let me
the
ask you
Jewish
this.
Passover
Let me ask you
the
this.
Easter.
Who are God's people?
I just explained that.
Who are they? Who are
They're
they?
the
Right now.
called out, chosen people of God.
Anybody? Anybody?
Who are
Anybody
Who's
of
ever born again?
No, that's wrong.
Well,
the only
what does
peop-
your scripture say?
the only people get Amos 3 and
Okay, the original
Amos 3.
people of God.
The original and only.
Overwatch.
Now there's a mix. I know what you're gonna say. Gentiles, different whatever. I know what you're gonna say.
I'm curious about what you think Paul's missionary purpose was.
It was to the Israelites. Now they were there.
Really?
You
When he
had
was called to the Jews
The-
and Gentiles?
are not Jews Israelites
I said Gentiles.
and Gentiles. So
Jews.
you had 2 meanings of the word Gentile. You have the Bible today? Did you read this to me? Okay, you had Gentiles, actually Gentiles from other nations. And then you had Gentiles, Israelites, we know that they were Israelites. Like for example, my sister, you would look at her and say she's from Africa because she's black in descent, but she was born here.
Sure.
So she has a Canadian citizenship. So
Yeah.
you had Israelites by blood who were Israelites but had citizenship as Romans, Rome.
So you're saying that Gentiles are what then?
They're Israelites. There's 2 meanings to that word Gentile, but they are Israelites. They're not
in the gentle state of
in a
mind.
gentle state
They
of
did
mind.
not know they were
They didn't
Israelites.
keep their customs. They
So
didn't
do you
they
think
ate
I'm
pork.
a Jew then? As an
Do I think you're an
Israelite?
Israelite? I personally don't think you're an Israelite, but I could be wrong. You could be an Israelite. It's all about your spirit. It has nothing to do with your color. Because you mix and mingle. Over years, you mix and mingle.
Has something to do with my spirit in terms of mixing and mingling, or what God breathes life into a person?
It's both. Both. Yeah, because because you are who your father is. You are who your father is. The word sperm goes back to the word spirit. That's you are who your father is. So if I sleep with a white woman and our kid's light skinned and it happens over time, over and over, he's gonna look white like you. But his seed, his spirit goes back, his seed goes back to a dark skinned man. So he is still considered a black person.
So I'm assuming
Or
you
so-called
spend
black
time through your lineage and you
That's why
trace that.
that's why we said it's by the spirit. I'm just giving you the definition of the word, but I'm saying we said it by the spirit. So you can tell the scriptures tell you it's our spirit that bear witness with other spirits that we're the children of Israel. So it's the spirit that bears witness of who you are.
And how do these people come into the family of God? How would you say?
The Israelites? The Gentiles?
Sure,
The
yeah,
Israelites?
Gentile.
By recognizing that Yahweh Shai is our Lord and Savior. Yahweh Shai, not Jesus Christ. There's a big, what's the word I'm looking for? I should say it's important to get the right name. Because, for example, people think they can pray to the Lord. Yes, he understands all languages. Yes, he can hear you no matter what you're calling him. But it doesn't mean you should be calling him a different name. That's just disrespectful. If your name, let's say your name is Adam, but I call you Steve, are you going to even turn around and look at me? No, because it's not the right name. You might understand English, but doesn't mean you have to turn around and look at me. That's what I'm saying. Now that's what we're out here doing. Is some of these.
And I would say the same thing in terms of the body of Christ. Would you call the head of the Lord the right name and call his body the name of a whore? Probably not.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you actually trace the origin of the word church back to Circe, she was a pagan
still stuck on this
whore
church
goddess.
thing.
Because you're stuck on the name of the Lord. His body is totally not a whore.
Okay, what sense does that make? What sense
Okay,
does that make?
how the disconnection there is actually a little disturbing. Because it's the same connection that you're making with the name of the true Lord. Okay?
so you're
With the
saying-
name of the
so
true
you're saying
Lord's
what
body.
we're doing right now is not a church.
No, it's not.
So
Well,
what-
actually,
so-
no, I would agree it is, because if you're
then
actually
where's the
preaching
argument?
this whole weird
So then-
gospel, then
then
maybe
it's-
it is a church.
It is,
Because
okay.
It is a
these,
mystery.
yeah, it is a mystery, and I think it's actually really shocking.
It is.
Because if you're calling the body of Christ a church, and the church is these little buildings on top of that,
We're not talking
what's
about Christ.
mixing and mingling,
We call
you
this
don't
a
have
church.
to be in.
But this is what I'm saying. You're up here arguing with us, when you already agree with us. What
Okay.
sense does that make? You know what I'm
The
saying?
thing
You agree
is,
that you
there's
said
a
this is
burn
church.
mark, like right here, because everything I've said's kind of went over your head.
There's
So
a
it's
burn
cool.
mark?
There is, actually. You don't see it, but it's there. It's gone completely over your head.
If you want to talk about burn marks, you guys got to look at your scripture.
Yeah, well,
I've
I
never
don't,
been
you know,
burned in my
I
life.
think you're a little bit too racial here. So
Racial?
Yeah, I don't really care about the skin color.
I am
if you're
for my people.
a
I am for
creation
my
of God,
people.
then we're all.
I am for my people, and I would
So-
care if I had a choice between burning in the sun and not burning in the sun. Trust me, people would care.
Anyways, you guys,
Right?
all the best.
Because we're right. It's true. These and see, that's how you know these so-called white people. They're wicked. They don't
Wow,
like.
and
It's
you
true.
are racially
They don't
discriminated,
like to
and
hear
you
the
could
truth.
probably go to jail for that.
Your people kill everyone and you destroy everything.
These so-called white people don't like to hear the
Welcome to
truth.
Canada. Go back to your own country if you don't like it here.
All right.
Hey man, who brought us here?
That's Satan, man. That's Satan. That's Satan. That's Satan. Satan will stomp on any ground and say, "This is my home. Go back home."
He's hurt. He's
he'll,
hurt about the church
he'll
thing.
walk on your house and say, "Yo, go home."
Yeah.
What do you mean? This is where I live.
If you don't like it, get out of here.
This guy's talking about church, and he was stuck on the church thing. Okay, you know what? But this is where is the argument if you agree this is a church? These devils all over the place, man. You know, they're just up here to disrupt, and they're just demons. That's why, at the end of the day, at most, you ignore them or use them for edification for the video.
You see, and then
That's it.
and then as soon as we say white people are wicked, all of a sudden
That's it. Go back home. You're racist.
You're racist.
You're racist.
But you're the one. Look at your record, man. Everything you do has been wicked, and it's a true. It's a fact that you guys are the wicked. Because you, like the scripture says in John 10:10, a thief cometh not but for to steal, to kill, and to rob, and to murder. Roughly paraphrasing. That's what the so-called white man does. That's true definition of wickedness, man. So when we say that, then all of a sudden now we're racist. But what have we done? All we did was just talk. We just said you're wicked, man.
Even
No?
for race, listen. I am for my race.
Yeah,
I
it's-
am. Like that's if it's a bad thing to be racist, to be for my race, and you're telling me I should be for a race that wants to take me down.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like if we're gonna take all the emotion, extract all the emotion out of it, and actually objectively look at what that word means.
Yeah. Well,
Of course, we're for our own race. I don't want to be for a race that want to take me down.
Yeah, that's the same
What
guy.
kind of nonsense that
That's the
make?
same guy talking about the church, and you can't call that. Well, you really look at what the word race means. It means for people, just like the brother saying. It's like how you have bicyclists, you have racist, racist. I am for my
Dentist.
race. Yeah, it's just like you have a dentist. That's what his. I'm a professional.
Yeah, professional.
Right? That's what he does.
That's what he's for.
So if you call me a racist, cool. Everybody's a racist. If they're one last, I'm a piece of bread, right? And there's a guy that I don't know who the fuck it is, and then there's my family starving. I'm giving it to my family 100% of the time. Why? Because I'm for my people, man.
That's right.
I'm not gonna give it to just a random ass nigga. That I have no idea who the fuck that is.
Exactly.
So of course we're racist, man. You are for your own
Unless
race.
he's a man of the Lord.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Unless he's a man of the Lord, But if he's an Edomite, fuck that Edom. Let him die.
Awesome. What's the name of the Lord?
I'll be teasing him with that bread, man. And then watch him die.
Yo, you know
slowly.
what? And it's crazy, man. Like, yeah, this is how we're talking about putting you Edomites in slavery. Oh man, these guys are horrible. Look at what they're talking about. They call themselves Christians. You're for God. But what about when they were in their councils
And doing
sitting
that
down
shit?
there, we gotta tear these guys apart. Let's not feed them. Let's take their babies and use them for bait. Let's take the women and split them open, rape. Like, they were having counsel too. So we're having counsel too. You don't think we're meditating revenge? Matter of fact, when you get after you're done, you're getting your scripture, get Isaiah 66.
Con. That's right, man. That's the thing.
Because it's a wicked thing when we want revenge for what has been done, right? It's a wicked thing. Although anytime anything happens to anybody, they have the most to say. I should get this. Yo, anytime you're watching these events, these situations where maybe a son was murdered, the mom and the father, the whole family wants justice. You got them in their mind. They're wishing that the murderer should go 25 for life, right? But then you got the lawyer working on for something wicked. So because we want revenge, it's a wicked thing. It happened years ago, so we got to erase it. We got to forget about it. What you guys lack to understand is reincarnations in the scripture. So you might say it's your forefathers, but you are your forefathers coming back in the reincarnation. So the judgment still lies on you. That's why the Most High has us speaking about it now a couple hundred years later. Because the judgment still lies on you, and there still has to be judgment to be played out to you.
Where's the scripture, man? I'm looking for one in the book of Proverbs where it talks about, how they basically.
I'm back again.
Good.
Can I tell you guys something? Like.
That's a lot, yeah. Not.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Well, I can't find it. Oh, yeah, man. I can't find it.
So, can you get 63?
Yeah, Isaiah 63.
Yeah. You're curious about this image, it's not the true image. People get upset with me on boards of it. This is not the true image of the Lord. Lord of Jesus Christ. If you read the scriptures, the Bible, what he looks like, it does not look like anything like this. This is white supremacy is conditional. When you say Jesus Christ, this image comes to your mind. That's what's been conditioned in you to see or to believe is the image.
That's right. In the book of Revelation, it says that he was a dark-skinned man
I like the lion.
with the white woolly hair.
White people, so-called white people are going to slavery. You like that? No, you don't, okay? It's gonna happen though.
According to the scripture, because there are people put us in
What
slavery.
goes around comes around.
That's right.
Just laugh at everything.
This is what everything's about. I like the Bible.
And all we're up here to do is to mock. It's alright, man. These angels, Yahushua and these angels are keeping tabs. We're gonna know. And Yahushua is coming back with some serious anger.
Ignored everything and said, "Oh, I like the lion."
That's how I know you're the devils. Mocking the Most High's word.
Said Isaiah
But
says,
what, can I tell you guys something? Look, okay, like residential schools, most of my people are dying,
we know, man, because hey,
residential school,
hey, we know we're the same people. Our
I
people are
know.
also going through the exact same thing. The so-called Negroes in America, they built up America, but where do they live?
And then,
in the ghettos.
like some people are just like racist, like.
Hey, the Lord put the spirit on them to be like that because we disobeyed the Most High. But the Lord's gonna take the curses off of us.
That's why we get
and the Lord's gonna
along.
put us. That's right. That's why we don't get along.
Right? That's why we get along, the black and the native. That's
Yeah,
why we
we're
get
the
along,
same people.
right?
The same people. Huh?
Yeah. And then some people just like to fucking judge.
It's all good. It is what it is. It's the truth. It's the truth.
But yeah, I love it.
Isaiah 63 verse 1. It says, "Who is he that cometh from Edom, with dyed garment from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength.
Right.
I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel?"
Red in that apparel. So this man that's walking from Bozrah is red in his apparel. It's red all over his clothing. Okay?
I found that one scripture that I was looking for in the prophets, but
Okay,
yeah, but
Can I ask you guys
yeah,
something?
the whole topic
Yeah,
left.
okay.
Can I ask you
but
guys
like, it
something?
feels good that I found it.
Yeah,
You know,
now you'll
like,
never
what?
forget it.
Yeah, exactly.
Come.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
What made you guys go Christian?
What do you mean?
Well, just it's honestly, it's just the Lord.
Well-
The Lord gives you it's a gift of faith.
Well, you know,
You hear it and you believe in it.
yeah, you know,
Go
because
on with it.
at the end of the day, you know, like we don't, like saying that we're also, Christians. But if you were to get down to it, we are the true Christians. But specifically, we like to be called Hebrew Israelites because that's our true, identity. You know,
Yeah.
because when you say Christian, then
You mix us up with those guys.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because, like, it's just a general term. When you say Christians, now you're thinking, yeah, now you think that we're the exact same thing as all the Christians out there. No, we're different than them. We're the Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah, we're Hebrew
Okay?
Israelites.
So like, and whenever someone says that, like I try to tell them, no man, I'm not a fucking Christian, like you would think the people in the churches, I'm a true Hebrew Israelite, the disciples were called Christians first in the churches, in Antioch, right?
You know what? Like, I'm just, like, the reason why God on this hospital is because, it's so lonely. Like, I lost 2 siblings and my stepmom injured.
Hey,
We're living in a rough time, but the Lord's coming back soon.
But you know what?
The
Like,
Lord's coming back soon.
but that's why you shouldn't get mad at people because they don't know how long
Hey,
you're living for.
Hey, well, the scripture says, be angry but sin not. So it's okay to be mad, but don't sin. Meaning, don't do something, you know what I mean? Like, don't do something, that is against the Lord. So having, anger, and, all those,
But I
all
can
those
tell you
emotions,
something.
it's okay, but
My
you have to know a
stepmom,
balance
you
to
know
it.
what she did?
Yeah,
She's like, oh, you're just like your fucking mom. And I was like, what?
it's a
You
process,
know?
man,
Yeah, anyways.
But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna read this. And it says, therefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garment like him that treadeth in the wine fat. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger.
I will tread them in my anger. So this is revenge, man. This is Yahweh Shai. This is who you guys all ignorantly call Jesus Christ, and who you think is all about love. And look at us all weirdly when we talk about revenge. The same man is talking about trotting people as if he was trotting in a wine fat. When you step in and all that red gush comes on you, that's how much blood was on him when he was going through these people, man. Because he comes with a sword, and he come not to send peace but division. Those are all scriptural.
Yeah. That's right. And it says, and trampled them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment, and I will stain all my raiment.
Man, you guys are really going to be surprised when you see the Lord, man. Because
Yeah.
it is actually crazy. Everybody does believe the Lord is a loving dude. You see a man that looks more scarier than us, it's over.
Yeah, because you got people out here, just like that one guy saying, oh, you're racist and you can go to jail for that. If that's the case, all Edomites should be in jail right now. All of them. All of them, man. They should be locked up and they should be put to death, man. If that was the case.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Verse 4. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help. And I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me.
So guess his fury upheld him. His anger, his righteous anger upheld him. And that's why we're suffering now, so that we can muster and build up this anger and hate. So when it's time for us to get revenge and start killing you niggas, man, and you so-called white people, it's gonna uphold us, man.
Well, it feels good to have justice,
when men go to war, the things that keep them going through war are not the simple happy thoughts in life.
Yeah.
Or they're thinking about serious things to keep them going.
And it's what built them up, right?
Exactly. It's what built them up to be men. To face that kind of, to face death over and over again,
Yeah.
is what built them up.
And that's why back then, they would have a rule, You know, like I can't remember where I heard this, but you know, if you were to go to war, you know, you would not, you know, be sleeping with your woman the night before.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
why? Because that just softens you down,
Yeah,
man.
it does.
It brings you down. You know, you get all emotional. Oh, I'm gonna miss my baby.
Yeah, you get
know,
that,
you
that
know what I mean?
weird, that emotional mindset.
Yeah, in an emotional mindset where you know you're weak, man. You know, you don't want to do
2
anything.
days before, I'm watching a show called Vikings. You should watch I guess.
Yeah, right.
Vikings, it's all Jakes. They paint them as white, but they're all Jakes. But some the Vikings, what they'll do, this guy, before war, he went on top of a cliff and sat there for 2 days in a blanket, cold. They get himself ready for war. Came out to war killing men, you know?
Yeah, because you know, like even in the scriptures, right? Like, if I'm not mistaken, you know, but like if you marry a woman, you know, like you're supposed to be with her for like a year, and then after that, then you know that's when you can go to war, you know, and do all that stuff, man. You know.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, when the Lord told us to go out and call people in the house in the Bible, you know, some said, oh, you know, I got too much work, you know, just roughly paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Some said, you know, I have married a wife, you know, so,
Yeah.
you know, right?
So, you know,
Yeah.
I need my time with her.
I need my
I
time
only got
with
my
her.
6 months. I need my 12. I need my 12.
Yeah.
I only got my 6. I need my 12.
And then also, you know, like I need my time and a half out, you know. Jake, man. You know Jake, man. You know, it's so good though still.
Did that hit on that one?
Yeah. I'm going to read verse 6. Verse 6 is the end of that point. Verse 6, as this is 63, verse 6. And I will tread down the people in my anger and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
That's it. So you took a white people are going down, man. Devils are going down, whether you like it or not. That we're going to close up, we're going to say,
Kahala Yahweh wa Yahushai.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akims, the elect pushing his word in true sincerity. The death and destruction of the wicked kingdom and you Edomites, man. And you 2/3.
Yeah. Shalom.